The Tarbus has a brand new key ring. Isn't that cool? Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Well, hello, Glue Troopers. Max of Max's Models here. And enjoyed a nice Sunday off watching TV, but eventually I wound up wandering back out to the Tarbus, where even my shiny new air conditioner was having trouble keeping up with the 100-degree Florida heat. But I realized that I need to get organized again. You know, we all have that point where we look back and go, okay, it's time to get the projects organized. So I did a bit of an overhaul, minor overhaul. I got a lot of the models moved out of my office so that I could free up space on my shelf, because I wanted to take all the models that I had scattered around that I'm probably not going to build for sentimental reasons, or they're too valuable or hard to replace, or just whatever, nostalgia, and thought I would make sort of a kit model shelf from circa 1960s or something. These are not all of the same vintage, of course, but you know what I mean. Just and add that as sort of the ambiance of my office. And so I had to move the books, so that meant moving models. So without boring you to death, I moved a lot of the books up to the top of the shelf and all those models out to the shed, rearranged that, and got my little shelf set up. And I also made a commitment to the models that are going on the short stack to be built. Now, this is 6 months to a year's worth of building, probably. You'll recognize a lot of these kits if you watch the channel. Right now I'm on the flying saucer and spaceship kick, but I am going to be trying to get these done, not rushing, not any hurry to build them, just in the order, you know, that's sort of the order that they'll probably get built in. The Hannibal I do not intend to make in German markings. I have plans for it as a post-war Lufthansa airliner for the big flying saucer faux commercial I'd like to make, which I probably won't get around to. I like to say for a year. It wouldn't shock me if it took longer than that. That's part of the reason I've been working on the C-57D and these others. And, you know, sort of a used flying saucer sales lot. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Galactic International Star Cruisers can wait to have their commercial another day. Now, I still have projects I need to do in the meantime, a few that, especially this little J-22, which is one of those little things that's easy to push it to the side like I did the B-17s and kind of forget about it. I don't. So I'm going to finish that before I jump into anything else, and then I'm going to work on converting the C-57D interior into a Star Cruiser simulator trainer, which I've got a couple of different ideas on that. The foam board's the main thing I plan to make it out of, but I'm not sure if this Tacome Jeep box isn't just the right size to make essentially the base for the whole thing, so that would give me some solid structure. And that would be an honorable way to go out, I think. So then we also have a bunch of other models that are now a little bit more organized. Pretty much all my sci-fi and space stuff's on one shelf out in the shed. But right now my office has a little bit better feel to it, skosh more elbow room, and it just has a little bit better vibe, I think. And also, while we're on that subject, I was realizing when I was out in the Tarbus today, heat and all, that I really enjoy just hanging out in there sometimes, being surrounded by my models, and both built and unbuilt. And, you know, it's just sort of my happy place, which I guess that's why we built the thing. And the other projects I have going on, I do inside the house, so those things take up probably a little more time as time goes by. But, you know, but this will be my escape from the rugged, rigid realities of retirement. Yeah, that could be a t-shirt. Anyway, I just made that up. Man, I can be clever for a blonde. So anyway, we're going to be, like I say, cranking out probably a few less videos, but hopefully they'll be of slightly higher quality, and I do mean ever so slightly. But for right now, one of the big news that affects us all is I have added the Tamiya build. It will be due at the end of August, so that gives us just over a month. I know most of you guys have a Tamiya kit laying around. I would ask, of course, that you make a new build, not send a picture of an old build. This is, of course, in respect to Mr. Tamiya, who just passed away. This was Sara-Jane's idea. I think it's a grand idea, and I'm sure you've got a Tamiya kit you can get put together in a month or less. I personally plan to do this G4M Betty that Garfield sent me, and that's where we're at with everything right now. So I got to finish the J22, get working on the simulator, and also the Betty, and then start working on the rest of these models as they come up. And Once that stack goes down, I have plenty more in the secondary next in line stack, probably the B17s. Obviously, one of the problems I'm running into is where to put all this stuff. I might talk to Ian about hanging them from the ceiling of his shop, and which, that's the one thing. His hobby shop only has RCs hanging from the ceiling. I haven't seen any kit models. He does have them displayed under glass, but can you really have a hobby shop without some plastic models hanging from the ceiling? I mean, isn't that part of a hobby shop's soul? Well, that's the line I'm going to feed him anyway. And you know how you get rid of those models? Eventually somebody comes in, their kid sees it and goes, oh, I want that. And then he can give it to him or sell it to him or whatever. And you got the joy of building the model, having the world look at it, and now you don't have to worry about a place to put it. It's a thought. Okay, guys, that's all I got for right now. You take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you later. And as always, model on. And my office, man, I got to sneeze, but I can't get it out. And right now, I need to get back in the air conditioning before I collapse.